I woke up to an unfamiliar noise coming from the adjacent room. It was some kind of unnatural sound, unlike anything I'd ever heard, as if someone was howling. This eerie howl startled me, surpassing the bounds of nightly calmness and feelings of safety. Fully awake now, I got out of bed and headed towards that very room to check what it was. Approaching the door, I began to listen intently, but heard nothing. Perhaps I had just dreamed it. Gathering courage, I entered the room and quickly turned on the light, but found nothing there. I smiled, feeling instantly relieved, realizing it was all just a dream. What nonsense. Heading to the kitchen to get some water, I returned to bed. I was relieved that this dreadful night was over. After some contemplation, I headed to the kitchen to make myself some morning coffee. Placing the kettle with water on, I reached for the coffee jar. Damn, it turned out to be empty. I didn't feel like leaving the house, but it seemed I had to, or else I'd feel awful all day without my cup of coffee. Putting on my jacket, I went to the store, which was not far from my house, where I always shop. Damn it, the elevator isn't working. What the hell? All right, I'll take the stairs, always have to stay optimistic. Descending several floors down, I heard some banging from above, as if someone was trying to break a door down. The echo in the hallway amplified the sound. I felt uneasy. Probably a drunken neighbor lost their keys to the door, hence the banging. I can't stand drunkards. Always considered them messengers of Satan. I hope someone calls the police. The street was deserted. Not surprising, it's Saturday. After Friday night revelries, people sleep in. I glanced at my watch, 11:06 in the morning. Arriving at the store, I headed to the tea and coffee section. There was nobody in the store either, except for a young girl standing about 10 meters away from me. After paying at the cashier, I left the store. Damn, it started raining. Who would have known this morning had decent weather? Though it was quite chilly. I hate autumn. It's so deceptive and variable. You never know what to expect from it. But on the other hand, it's a very cozy time of year. It's nice to sometimes disconnect from the world, from the surrounding problems, and indulge in watching a good movie with a cup of your favorite coffee. Sometimes it's just necessary. Of course, I didn't have an umbrella. I decided to wait in the store until the rain calmed down. Returning inside, I noticed that there was nobody behind the counter. Where did the cashier go? Probably off on her own business. Inside the store, there was absolute silence. Only the sound of raindrops falling on the shop window could be heard. I reached into my pocket for my phone to entertain myself somehow, but of course, I had left it at home. I spent several hours in the store, flipping through a magazine lying on the table near the exit. During all this time, I didn't see a soul. Nobody entered or exited. Did nobody need to go to the store? This seemed very strange to me, perhaps because of the rain. Suddenly, I heard that the rain had stopped. I stepped outside to confirm it. The rain seemed to have stopped. Now I could go home. Puddles were everywhere. I hurried home. Entering the hallway, I saw that my shoes were leaving dirty traces. There was no rag anywhere to wipe my feet. At that moment, I felt quite awful, as the hallway was clean before my arrival. But what could I do? I couldn't crawl on the ceiling. Besides, it's easier to clean the floor than the ceiling. Pressing the elevator call button, I remembered that it wasn't working. Damn, I'll have to take the stairs. It was quite dark in the hallway, but I could make out the steps, illuminated by the light streaming in from a small window in the hallway. As I climbed, I noticed that my footsteps seemed to produce a echoing sound, as if someone was stepping in sync with me. What nonsense, it's just an echo. Here I am on the 4th floor, just 3 more floors, and I'm home. Reaching the 6th floor, I heard someone scratching the walls inside the elevator cabin. I flinched slightly. Maybe there's someone stuck inside? I approached the elevator, knocked on the door several times. Nothing. Just an echo. I asked if anyone was inside. No one answered me. It was dark in the gap of the elevator. Nothing could be seen. Perhaps there was no one there. I stepped away from it and decided to continue walking, when suddenly there was a knock, then another one. This sound came from the elevator. Someone was inside. I stopped and turned towards the elevator. To my enormous surprise, It started descending. Perhaps the elevator started working. But who was inside? Who was knocking? I heard the elevator doors open on the ground floor. Someone stepped out of it, their footsteps clearly audible to me. Someone was inside, but I didn't hear the intercom door opening. It emits a distinct beeping sound when opened. Could it be that this person didn't leave the building and is still inside? But why aren't they coming out? It's as if they're standing still, waiting for something. The last thing I wanted to do was to go downstairs or call the elevator. What if this person needed help? I started listening intently, trying to hear any movement to understand if there was someone there. Suddenly, a wild, soul-piercing laughter echoed from downstairs. I had never heard such terrifying laughter even in my nightmares. It laughed, cackled with an inhuman voice. Goosebumps ran down my spine. Stumbling on the steps, I ran to my door, one floor above. Dropping my keys, I opened the door and burst into my home. My heart was pounding as if it was about to burst out of my chest. What was that? It wasn't human laughter. Who could laugh like that? It felt like it was piercing through every cell of my mind, turning it inside out. I locked the door and started searching for my cell phone. Damn, where's that damn phone? I didn't have a landline. What do I need it for? All these scams with bills, it's much better to use a cell phone. I kept telling myself. My windows overlooked the side of the forest and old, abandoned private houses. I lived in an area on the outskirts of the city. Screaming was pointless. It's unlikely anyone would hear me. Most of the neighbors were away. Besides, the relationship with neighbors was quite strained. It didn't go beyond a casual hello. I sat in the kitchen and waited for something terrible to happen. Thoughts tangled in my head. I couldn't think of anything. I just sat there and stared at the wall. I fell into some sort of stupor, a state of suspended animation, awaiting the inevitable. It was getting dark outside. In the distance, sounds of passing cars could be heard. I made myself some coffee. I just sat there and drank it, not thinking about anything. It's time to pull myself together. Whatever it was, it stayed there. I'm at home, here it's safe. It won't get to me. If it does, I'll be ready. Whatever it was, I'll be ready. I live on the 7th floor. That thing won't climb up so high. But what if that thing is already inside? Is it in my home? Is it here, nearby, breathing down my neck? I think I'm going crazy. I need to pull myself together and calm down. Yes, that thing wants me to calm down. Then it will definitely do something to me. It's waiting for me to lie down to sleep. No, sleep makes me weak, vulnerable. I shouldn't sleep. I should always be ready. It won't possess me, my consciousness. Consciousness? Haven't I already lost my sanity? I need to get rid of it, to extract that creature from myself. It has already taken hold of me. I feel how it controls my consciousness. This creature wants me to calm down. No. I'm smarter, cleverer. I know what's really happening here. It's all his doing. He always meddled with me. Last night, the local police discovered the severely mutilated body of a young man. According to neighbors, cries and sounds of breaking glass were heard. There was also crying, as if a child was crying on the staircase landing. The police refused to comment on the incident, but they stated that this was not the first case of such suicide. There were other cases when the victims slashed their abdomens, trying to remove their entrails, and death ensued from bleeding. Strange inscriptions resembling Latin were found on the wall, but there were no shards of glass on the body. Perhaps there was an accomplice. This seems to be some kind of ritual. I'm inclined to think that it was a sacrifice. Traces of dirt were found on the staircase leading to the elevator.